Welcome to the Koach Katlyn Show. I'm your host, Koach Katlyn, and this show exists for your future. We are here, and I'm here to coach you through the areas of life, love, and leadership to help you succeed in this life. And I'm so happy you've stopped by. I am your biggest fan, your biggest cheerleader, helping you succeed according to God and God's plan for your life. You know, as you tune into this show, you'll see some episodes where I have guest co-hosts. Today, in fact, though, is a one-on-one coaching session. You and me, cup of coffee, coaching session. And so I'm so excited to talk about today's topic. But before I go on, I love always to answer this question. This may be the first time you're tuning in. So many people, as I've been doing this 5 years, have my master's degree in it, certified on the John Maxwell team to coach. So many people say, well, what is a life coach? A life coach is simply someone who guides you to pull out the God-given treasures in you to live a life you love. Someone who pulls out the God-given treasures in you to live a life you love. And that's why I exist. You can find out more about me, my story, resources, ways you can connect with the show, bring me to your church to speak, the different resources and books I have by going to koachkatlyn.com/the show. koachkatlyn.com/the show, or you can just go to koachkatlyn.com, and there you can find out ways we can connect and stay connected, because I just don't want to guide you and help you in your future right now. I want to guide you throughout the week. So let's stay connected and let's hang out at koachkatlyn.com/the show. Okay, so each show I start off with what I call a coaching corner to introduce what we are going to talk about today. And today is really going to be, I am taking you on, again, this is a coaching show. I'm going to take you on a coaching journey to do something that I do with all of my clients who are really looking to discover their purpose. Today, I want you to walk away knowing, how can I find my purpose? How can I discover my purpose, who I am, and what I'm meant to do on this earth? Have you found it? Are you watching this show? You'd raise your hand really quickly. I see you in my spirit. Raise your hand and say, I want to find out my purpose, why I am here on this earth. I know for me that was something that I wanted to discover as quickly as possible, but so often it seems like something that should be so simple is so complicated in our life. But I do believe this, that you were made on purpose and for a purpose. You were made on purpose and for a purpose. And maybe you're tuning into this and you've never heard this, but I believe that you were handcrafted by the hand of God to fulfill a purpose on this earth for such a time as this. I'll say it again. You were handcrafted by the creator of the universe to serve a purpose on this earth for such a time as this. Ephesians 2:10 says, for we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which he prepared in advance for us to do. For we are his workmanship. Whose workmanship? God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which he prepared in advance for us to do. Another translation says, we are God's handiwork. You are the result of a creation of God. Let me tell you this. You are not an accident, no matter how you came. You're not, you are somebody who doesn't belong. You are someone who was an intentional creation by the Almighty God, who was sent on this earth for such a time as this, via parents who loved you, or parents who put you up for adoption, or parents who didn't want you. However you got here, God wanted you here, and so you're here for a purpose. And our goal in life is to discover that purpose. And I think so often we have so many people I talk to depressed, anxious, dissatisfied with life. And what I believe that it is that we can go through so easily doing what the world wants us to do, doing what society says we want to do, doing what our culture in that area wants us to do. But we don't strive to fulfill our purpose. I believe that at the root of all things that people really battle, it's a lack of purpose. And we're like, why do I feel dissatisfied? Maybe you're watching today and you're like, I should be happy with this job I have. I should be happy, but there's something missing. And I think often what's missing in our life is purpose. And that is why today I want to guide you on how to discover the purpose. I have a son, and his name is Asher, and he is in the infant stage, and he's beginning to play with toys. And he has this one toy. It's this blue box, and it's yellow on top, and there's different cutouts for the different shapes. So he loves to dump out, take the yellow top off, dump out all the different shapes, pull them out, and we're trying to get him to match the shapes with the top. So put the top back on and get all the shapes back in so that he can see how different shapes go with different things. That strong-willed kid will be like, circle, and he will bang and bang and bang. He wants the circle to go into the triangle area. He wants the square to go into the circle area. He wants the star to go into the triangle area. He keeps trying to put the wrong shape into the wrong spot, the wrong shape into the wrong spot. And he gets frustrated and he gets angry, and then he just starts slinging stuff everywhere, and we have to go pick it up. But as I was watching him the other day, I thought, man, isn't this how it is in life? So often, we've dealt with those things, discovering purpose, and I've talked to client over and over again. This is what I coach people through, discovering their purpose, creating a life plan. And one thing that I have found is that many of our key frustrations in life are found when we are trying to put the wrong thing in the wrong place. They're found when we are trying to put the wrong thing in the wrong place. What I mean, where we're trying to take this shape that we've created ourselves with our society pressures into a place that society pressures us to go, and they just don't fit. Why? Because at the core of what we are created to be and where society tries to put us, there is a different shape. And what is that different shape? It's what God has created us specifically to do. I believe that this is why so many college students, I talk to so many college students, a lot of people I coach are college students, and they are saying, I am a junior in college. I don't know what I want to do. I'm a senior in college. I graduated with this degree just because it sounds smart. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. That's why we have so many, and no, shout out to the college students. It's a lot of pressure in this world out there. But that's why we have so many people, moving back home or doing different jobs because they don't know what they want to do. They go to college 4 years to get a degree that they may never use. Why? Because they never found out their true shape to match it with where they're supposed to go. They never found out the shape they were created to be and put it in the right place. We end up being a society of people like my toddler or like my infant child who is trying to take the shape that was created and put it in a place that it doesn't belong. That's why maybe you're watching this today and you're feeling frustrated and you're feeling like, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to fit here and it doesn't feel right, and I'm trying to fit here and it doesn't feel right. It's because you're trying to put yourself in a place that God has not designed for you to be. Statistics, I read this statistic, and this was just crazy to me. Can we have a one-on-one? This is crazy to me. This statistic said that there are over 60% of the population that does not like their job. Over 60% of the population does not like their job, yet it is the place that they spend the most time. I'm just going to say that again. Over 60, that means more than half of our society is working jobs that they do not like, but yet they spend most of their time there. Why? Because we don't spend enough time working to intentionally discover our God-given purpose. We don't look to see the shape that's in our hand, just like my infant child, and the shape that's on the box match. So I love this statement that says, Mark Twain says, now, before I go into this phrase, I'm not saying go in, quit your job, and say, oh, I'm not happy my job, so I just quit. No, there's a process to go through to find your purpose. And sometimes I found that you can find your purpose within your job, but requires discovering your purpose to realize how much you do love your job or work it in a way that you do love. So I'm not saying go quit your job right now because you don't feel, or college because you haven't found your purpose. Let's go on this journey together to see maybe you can make it fit in the right area, the shape in the right spot. Mark Twain said this: "The two most important days in a life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. I wasn't there with you on the day you were born, but I want to be your guide on this journey to discover why. I want to be this guide with you today to discover why. Now, I'm not in the room with you. I'm not taking notes on you, but I am going to take you through this is free. People pay big money for this, and I'm giving it to you for free today because I feel like that God has some of you out there watching this today. You've been struggling with your purpose. You've been trying to fit the triangle and the square box. You've been trying to fit it, the shape you were created to be, into the wrong space. And I want to guide you today to live your best future by discovering your purpose. So I'm guiding you exactly through the exact session and the questions that I would ask you if you were sitting with me one-on-one in a coffee shop. Cheers to the coffee. To discover your purpose. So the first question, this is a group of 10 questions. I would encourage you to take notes. I would encourage you, whether you're taking notes on your phone, however you're watching this, write these questions down. In this episode, you probably won't be able to answer them right now, but I'm going to tell them to you so you can write them down. I'm going to explain what they mean, and I want you, your homework from watching this is to go home and take time to assess these questions, really think about it, maybe get half a morning at a coffee shop or when you wake up in the morning, something, but I want you to write these questions down, hear what they mean, and then I want you to take time this week to go out, take action, even today, to answer these questions and really dive into what is your purpose. Because remember, Ephesians 2:10, we are his workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which he prepared in advance for us to do. So these are the 10 questions I take clients through. So let's go. Number 1, what is your background? What is your background? I ask everybody this and all of this because our background, where we are raised, what we've done, our college degree, maybe you've already gone through college or college degree, what you have done in this life, the experiences you've had. When you begin to list out your background, a lot of times I found that 99% of the time, our purpose is tied somewhat to our background, something that we've done, something that we've been through. You know, I'll give you an example. For instance, I grew up in a pastor's home. I'm married to a pastor. That background prepared me for my future. I did pageants growing up. I've done pageants since I've been an adult, and that pageantry has allowed me to realize that my confidence to speak on stage, different things like that, preaching in churches, encouraging women. My background has helped me prepare for my future, and there were signals within my background that led me to know what my future journey, what my future path was. When I realized in pageantry that I love to speak and that's something that I commonly do, then that's when I realized speaking was a part of my path. And so what is your background? List out the things in your background that really stand out to you. Take time to discover this and begin to look at the things that are in your background that you love, that you don't love, or what has stood out. And I will say this, that some of you, you're saying, well, I have a really bad background, but perhaps your purpose could be tied in helping people in that situation. Maybe you were abused as a child. Maybe part of your purpose is helping abused children, or helping kids from a broken home. There are different patterns. So look at your background because it gives clues to your God-given purpose and assignment. The second question I always ask my clients is, what activities drain you? Like, what activities do you do and that is so draining to you that it's like the worst. It's so draining to you. You know you're not supposed to do that with your life. I'll give you an example. So I know that the activities that drain me growing up, I babysat one time. Now you're saying you have a kid. I know having a kid is different. Like that's my kid, but kids drain me. So I knew that I never wanted to be a teacher, and shout out to all the teachers. Y'all are really rocking it. Y'all are my heroes. No, I never wanted to be a teacher, never wanted to do children's ministry, never wanted to do those things. Why? Because after I'm with kids, I am drained because that's not something that I'm gifted to do. Or even worse, like accounting stuff. Oh, Lord help, I don't like doing that, all that accounting, all those numbers. I hated math in school. Those activities drain me. So obviously that the things that drain me aren't something that I was naturally designed to do. That's not a part of my purpose. So take time to write down what activities drain you. And really, I always like to say, take a look at what activities you do regularly that drain you. Now, there are some activities that drain us that we're just going to have to do. The dishes have to be loaded, the bills have to be paid, gas has to be put in the car. There are certain things that we have to do that drain us, but they're a part of our everyday responsibility. But there are certain activities that we can avoid, and we can choose to not live in professions or career callings that drain us on a regular basis. Okay, so number one, the question asks, what's my background? What are some things in my background that I can observe to see what possibly will come in my future? Number two, what activities drain you? What, when you're done with it, you're just like, oh, I'm done. I just need to lay down for like ever. My brain is just fried from this. And number three, what activities energize you? What activities after you are done, you are like energized? You could go on and on the rest of the night. My husband, after he's done preaching, man, he's so energized. He's too wired. That's why it's bad when he preaches night services and travels and speaks, because he's just wired for like till 2 a.m. He's stoked. For me, after I get off television, after I get done coaching a client, after I get done speaking at a women's conference or a youth event, I'm always so pumped that I never want to go to bed. It takes me forever to go to bed because I'm so pumped. I'm so energized. When I help people discover their purpose, like right now, I'm so energized. It'll take me a while to go to bed. Why? Because I'm so energized. So number one, your background. What drains you? What activities drain you? What activities energize you? Who energizes you? Who energizes you? What people in your life energize you? What people you would say, oh, after I'm around them, I'm really inspired to be something great. I'm really inspired to go do wonderful things. I'm really energized to go after this purpose. For me in my life, when I'm around my husband, I'm energized. I love being around him. He's an awesome person. When I'm around my dad, my mom, my parents, they are awesome. They energize me. They help me have confidence. When I'm around my son, it's 50-50. He energizes me and he drains me, but he's a blessing and he brings blessing to my life. My best friend Inga energizes me. We can talk about anything. So who energizes you? And number 5, this is a very interesting question, and it constantly, everybody, when I give them this question in our discovery session, they are always like, why is this a question? Why is this a question? But it's so important. What makes you angry? What makes you angry? What, when you see it, it makes you so very angry. It could be human trafficking. It could be abused children. It could be trash on the street. Environmental things could be a part of your purpose. It could be crooked politicians, and you're like, oh, that makes me angry. Well, maybe politics is in your future. What angers you? For me, one thing, there are 2 big things that anger me. It angers me when women don't have confidence to go after their God-given purpose, because I believe, again, everybody was made on purpose and for purpose. So it angers me when women feel downtrodden, like they're not good enough and they can't fulfill their God-given purpose, and it leads to body image issues and not feeling purposeful. And number 2, what angers me is when girls settle for men who don't deserve them, and they constantly find themselves in toxic Relationships. So what makes you angry? What would you say, this makes me so angry? Because it can be clue to your assignment. It can be clue to your purpose. You know, it said the Lord was filled with righteous anger. Righteous anger, the Bible says, be angry and do not sin. So righteous anger can lead us to discover the cause that God has put us here on earth to be an advocate on behalf of. So number one, what is your background? There could be clues there on your purpose. Number two, what activities drain you? What activities do you need to avoid that's definitely not in your purpose? Number three, what activities energize you? What could be some things that you are energized by that could be a part of your purpose? Number four, who energizes you? Who are people you need to keep in your life? Because it takes a journey of community to fulfill your purpose. And number five, what makes you angry? What keeps you up at night? What makes you angry? What do you just want to, you can't help but say something about, or you want to do something about? What makes you angry? Okay, those are our first 5 questions. We're going to come back to the next 5 in just a few moments, but I wanted to invite you guys again to just make sure if this is helping you out today, I want to invite you to stay connected. Go to coachkatlyn.com/the show, coachkatlyn.com/the show. There you're going to be able to watch old shows, check out resources that I have. I have 2 books. This book is a great one, Habits Not Hopes, all about the 10 daily success habits necessary to succeed. And then Slay and Pray, a 30-day devotional to help guide you into slaying the enemy and learning how to build a powerful prayer life. There are also links on there to connect on social media. I'd love to stay connected with you throughout the week. And there's also ways to find out how to have me come speak at your church or youth event, sign up for a coaching session, but I'd love to stay connected with you even after this show. So www.coachkatlyn.com/the show. Hope you'll check it out and see ways we can partner together. Okay, take a sip of your coffee. We're about to finish the last 5. Okay, the next 5. So those first 5 were a lot about your feelings, what you do, really examining where you've come from, examining who makes you happy, who energizes you, what feelings don't feel right, what feelings do feel right. This next half is really a lot about digging into dreaming as well. So question number 6, as you're taking notes, question number 6, if you had all the resources in the world, what would you do? If you had all the resources in the world, what would you do? Meaning that if a salary didn't come along with it, what would you do? You know, for me, I would still be doing this regardless. I love doing this. This is important to me. This energizes me. Speaking, I love doing it. It energizes me. I would do it if I had all the resources in the world. I would definitely buy a lake house if I had all the resources in the world currently, but that's just a dream in the future. But if you had all the resources in the world, what job would you have? What would you do? Number 7, do you have a dream? If so, what is it? Do you have a dream? So often we have dreams in our heart and we think, you know, God would never want me to do that, or I don't know if this is like real. What dream do you have in your heart? It can be crazy. I mean, think about Walt Disney. He had a dream to make animated characters, animated animals, and a whole place where people would go to it. In that time, it seemed crazy. Now we're all like Disney fanatics and we'll all pay like $1 bazillion to go and hang out at the park for a day. Why? Because somebody had a dream and they went with it. And so, do you have a dream? And if so, what is it? Write it down. And there's no dream too crazy for God. There's no dream too wild, too out there. God has a great imagination and we have to begin to tap into ours again. So what is your dream? This could be the first time you ever write it down, but what is your dream? What is your if you're saying, honestly, I don't have a dream, that's okay. Leave that blank. Leave that blank because the other questions are going to guide you through. But if you do have a dream, make sure you write it down. Number 8, what do you think are your top 3 strengths? What do you think are your top 3 strengths? And this is important, and this may be something where you bring in somebody else to help you out and ask them those questions. So what are your top 3 strengths? For me, mine is communication, organization, and administration. Communication, organization, and administration. I'm great at those things. Those are things that I love to do. Those are things that I'm good at doing. Those are some strengths of mine. Leadership is also a strength of mine. I might replace administration with that. But yes, those are my strengths. What are your strengths? What are you naturally good at? And again, this might be something that you ask somebody who's trusted, maybe one of those people who energize you. Ask them, what do you think my strengths are? What am I good at? And make sure you ask safe people, but they may be able to guide you if you're not really sure how to pinpoint it. You can also go online and look up strength tests. It's tests to see my strengths, and there are a lot of free great ones online that you could check out and find out your top 3 strengths. The next one, 9, is what obstacles are in your way now? What obstacles are in your way now? And you may say, well, I mean, I'm not exactly sure of my purpose. I'm going through these questions to really outline it, or my dream. I'm not really sure of how it's going to happen. But what obstacles are in your way right now that you just see? Maybe you're like, honestly, I'm in a bad financial state. That's an obstacle I see. Or I'm in a bad relationship. That's an obstacle I see. Or I don't have the degree I'd need for my dream. That's an obstacle. So what obstacles are you facing now? And then last but not least, and this is so fun, I love doing this at the end of every year, and all of my clients love doing this. In 1 year, what would your perfect life look like? In 1 year, what would your perfect life look like? So let's say it is September 2022. What does your perfect life look like? What does your perfect life look like right now? And have fun with this. This can be a paragraph. This can be 2 paragraphs. This can be 3 pages. But what does your perfect life look like? Maybe you're breaking it down and you're saying 1 year, my perfect life looks like I'm working my dream job, and I'm pregnant, and no, that's not my dream in 1 year. Let me say that. But could be your dream. I'm living in a house. I'm living my best life. I'm dating a great person. What is your dream? And write it out and get creative. Get very detailed down to where you're living and who you're talking to and even the purse you're carrying, whatever it is. But get down to the last detail of what a perfect year looks like. Okay, so now so let me review these questions. The top 10 questions are: 1, look at your background. What's your background? Number 2, what activities drain you? 3, what activities energize you? Number 4, who energizes you? Number 5, what makes you angry? Number 6, if you had all the resources in the world, money wasn't an object, what would you do? Number 7, do you have a dream? If so, what is it? Remember, you could have one, you could not have one, but make sure to write it down if you do. What do you think are your top 3 strengths? This could be something you may have to ask some friends about. What obstacles are in your way now? What things do you see are obstacles to your best future right now? And then 10, in 1 year, what does your perfect life look like? I want you to take these questions. Your action step is to take these questions and take some time this week to go and answer these questions, and then look for a pattern in those questions. And honestly, if you go to coachkatlyn.com/the show, you can find out ways to connect. You can go to the testimony section there, and you can send me your results, and I'm happy to send you back a free summary of what I see through that. So I hope this coaching session has been beneficial. I'll see you next time. This has been the Coach Katlyn Show. Look forward to staying connected.